June 7th, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 156 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
All right, so we're back from ZorkFest and 360 Vegas Vacation 6. So why don't we just jump right into it?
All right.
Talk about
we got to recap that whole thing?
Yeah, recap it. Yeah. Hopefully everybody listened to our week. I posted, our live show as an episode last week. So hopefully everybody got a chance to listen to that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. How did it sound?
It sounded okay. It was it was better there. Because I think the mic didn't pick up certain things.
There were a couple things where, the audio dropped off. And plus, we actually see the people and things are going on, of course.
And the gestures, we're making gestures. You can't get that in the podcast.
So that might still be up on the Travel Zork Facebook page. I don't know if it's still there. So maybe people can actually watch the
my wife watched it. She liked it.
Yeah, so did my mom, my sister liked it. So I think they enjoyed it. Anyway, so let's talk about the trip. We got there on Thursday night. Normally, I go, in the past, when I get there Thursday night, I just go straight to bed.
Right. That's your thing, straight to bed. Instead, I went straight to bed.
No, you didn't. No, you
I said I was.
You said you were
I was
going
exhausted.
To. That's true. You did say.
I said, I'm going to go straight to bed because I had been up. I literally had maybe 5 hours sleep in 4 days. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like I was averaging like an hour and a half night's sleep.
I know you were.
Because I was so behind in work and there was just so much going on. And I said, I'm going to go right to bed. And then what did I end up going to bed about?
Like 4 a.m.
4:30 a.m.
Yeah, it was something like that. So.
Which is the time I got up that morning.
The morning that we left.
Yeah.
So that was 24 hours up.
So it was 24 hours up, yeah.
Well, we got to Las Vegas Thursday night. Now, this was my 7 Stars annual trip. When we arrived, so the airfare was taken care of. That was nice. And when we arrived, there was a limo waiting for us, or where there was supposed to be
a limo. Yeah.
And when we got there, the guy was not there. The limo driver was not there. Mike, have you ever had a limo driver be right there when you landed in Vegas?
Not in Vegas.
Never in Vegas.
Never in Vegas.
I've been with you. Yeah, it's never been that way.
Atlantic City, they were right there.
Mm-hmm. When
Indiana,
we went to Foxwoods,
they were right there. Foxwoods, the guy was like right there.
But they've never been waiting for us there. And our flight was a little delayed. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So we looked around. We got off the escalator, nobody's there. And we go over to baggage and nobody's there. And finally, we're thinking, well, let's just get an Uber. And then finally we saw the guy. Now, listeners might be thinking, oh, poor Mark and Mike, right? They didn't have their limo, right? Yeah. Oh, they had to wait for it. But here's the thing: it's not that we really don't care about being in a limo.
No,
we've been
in limos.
Yeah, we just want to get to the hotel. Like most people who arrive in Vegas, you just want to get to the hotel as quickly as possible.
Right.
And if the limo's not going to be there waiting, we'll just get an Uber.
Yeah, we were more than happy to get an Uber. Yeah, the only thing we're missing when we get an Uber is there's not big bowls of candy.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the nice thing about being in a limo is they always have big bowls. Although I don't remember big bowls of candy in this.
No, they
limo
had. Remember,
trip.
they had big bowls of candy.
Really?
And you opened the sky roof and you had your hands out and you're waving to people.
I just don't remember that at all.
Went down the strip and I think at one point you took your shirt off and were throwing candy bars at people.
Wow. No, I just don't recall that at all. Yeah. Memories.
It was you're getting old. It was a long time ago.
It was quite a while ago. Well, I guess that's what the limo ride was like. But we stayed at Harrah's and check-in was no problem. And we were pretty hungry at that point. We hadn't eaten. And so we ended up going, this was pretty late. It was probably like 10 o'clock, wasn't it by now?
Closer to 10:30, I think.
And so we decided to go have dinner at Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill. And we never think about this place because it's upstairs.
Yeah,
it's kind of a way for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's out of the way. It's not in the casino.
So we went up there. That actually was very good, although we could tell that things were winding down there. And in fact, it turns out the kitchen closes at 11 o'clock.
Right.
So I think they were anxious to kind of get us going. And that's fine.
Good. That's what we like. They gave us fast service.
Yeah, but it was good. It was funny. We both had salads because I think we didn't want to overstuff ourselves.
Right, that late at night.
But then we also ordered the Southern Fried Chicken Strip appetizers and the fried mac and cheese balls.
Yeah.
So
we had a ton of food. We
wasted so much of it. It is true, but it was good, didn't you think?
I was stuffed at the end, but it was very good. Yeah. I was very impressed how good it was.
Yeah. It's funny because that turned out to be really the only real meal we had of any significance other than the ZorkFest dinner.
Yeah,
but we didn't go out.
So let's recap. We were in Vegas for 4 days, and the highlight of our food was Toby Keith's Bar and Grill.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because you had said, yeah, Mark, during the weekend, let's have at least one nice meal. And I said, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then about halfway through the weekend, I turned to you and say, why would we want to sit down and have a nice meal? It's just the two of us. We are around each other constantly. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, we have nothing to
at
say
a long meal where we're
Right.
just sitting there. Come on, get the food out. We want to get back to the table.
Right, and in a nice restaurant too. Everyone's kind of nice and everything. We're at Toby Keith's.
That was better.
We don't have to talk.
That was our big meal,
Yeah.
right? So that actually worked out good. Well, we went downstairs and played at Harrah's, and we just happened to run into Gina and her friend Kirsten. It was just a chance meeting. It's just, hey, there's Gina right
yeah,
there.
she just happened to walk by us.
We played at Harrah's for a little bit, and then I did go to bed. And it was around midnight, something like that. But then you continued and played, right?
I continued and played, and then the three of us walked down to Planet Hollywood.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
ended up playing down there. And I think Gina was staying somewhere down that way. I can't remember now exactly where, but I know Kirsten was staying at Harrah's.
Oh, okay.
So I said, I'll walk back with you. And of course I kept playing, and she walked back on her own. Sorry about that, Kirsten.
Well, but it went okay, I guess. Because
Yeah.
when I think we had lost at Harrah's, you made a little bit of money back.
I
at
made
Planet
it back
Hollywood,
at Planet Hollywood, yes.
That was basically Thursday night. So then on Friday, I'm trying to remember all of the different things. So I might get this chronologically not exactly right.
Right. Well, I probably won't remember much because I went to bed, like you said, about 4:30, 5 when I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I was up at 8:30.
Yeah, you didn't sleep in.
No,
Yeah.
I was up at 8:30 and we were down in the casino playing.
We played a little bit. What we ended up doing was we walked over to Caesar's Palace to meet up with Neil, who we met through Eric Rosenthal. We'd only met him, I think, once before last year at 360 Vegas
Right,
Vacation.
right.
We hadn't actually played with him at all.
Right.
So we went over to Caesar's Palace and we got him and his girlfriend Liz into the Diamond Lounge at Caesar's Palace.
Right.
Around lunchtime.
Right.
And, I don't know.
They should change the name. Diamond Lounge does not adequately describe that.
It's really a disappointment. It seems like it's almost always a disappointment. Now,
Bad Piece of Coal Lounge? Maybe they should go with that.
Bad Piece of Coal Lounge is that
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
instead of Diamond. You
Instead
got
of
me.
Diamond,
All right, very
right.
good. Yeah. I mean, the drinks were fine. The drink service is fine, but then the food, it was, salad and it wasn't even munchies. It was just crackers
there's some chips and there's no dip really or anything.
And sometimes they have hot food there, but even so, I keep thinking back to the Diamond Lounge in Atlantic City.
Right. Well,
just the
there's no
Diamond
comparison.
Lounge, right, was good.
Right.
And the Seven Stars Lounge don't even get us started, right? I mean, that was fabulous. So,
I think basically you're going to go to Vegas and you're going to go to Harrah's or Caesar's and you're going to go in their Diamond Lounge. You're just there for drinks.
Yeah, that's certainly the way I look at it now.
Right. You're just there for drinks. And they do mix a drink. I mean, it's
it's
a
fine.
stronger drink than you get on the floor.
But if anybody says, hey, instead of going to a restaurant, let's just go to the Diamond Lounge real quick, I won't do that.
No.
I'll go get some fast food somewhere before I'll go to a Diamond Lounge expecting to have a meal.
You actually want to eat a meal.
Yeah.
And that basically is just a snack in there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is. Yeah.
God, what was it? Just some lettuce?
Yeah, it was a little salad. Only, maybe one or two dressings, maybe only one dressing. Anyway,
it's not worth it.
No, I don't think so either. And so we walked back over to Harrah's and played some craps with Neil for the first time ever. And then somewhere along, I'm trying to remember, again, I'm getting some of this chronologically wrong, but we played two with Tony and Jason from Vice Lounge Online. I think Tony was playing, but Jason was just kind of watching at that point because it was kind of a crowded table.
Right, I think so.
And some more listeners. And that was kind of the way that Friday afternoon went, just playing here and there. And then we headed over to TI for the ZorkFest cocktail party. So that was nice because we got to see a lot of people that we hadn't seen in a while. We finally met Shane from the Vegas Confessions podcast for the first time.
First time meeting him.
Of course, we know Eric and we know Julian, but it was the first time we met Shane, so that was good. Joey Gibson and his whole family were there. Oh, Jay from Atlantic City and Steve from Canada. Bethany Walsh, who we'd met at Gamblepalooza was there.
Right.
We also met Anthony Curtis. Now, Anthony Curtis is, I mean, he's a Las Vegas celebrity.
Right.
I mean,
he's a name in Las Vegas.
He's the publisher of the Las Vegas Advisor newsletter. He is the publisher of Huntington Press. They put out a lot of gambling books. The Las Vegas Advisor Member Rewards book is one of the best coupon books around for Las Vegas. I mean, you make your money back basically just going to one place. It's got a great reputation. He's been on all sorts of TV shows dealing with gambling, like Travel Channel shows, dealing with Vegas, that kind of thing. We're talking to him. He says he listens to our show.
Yeah.
I mean, my brain exploded. It's like, really? You listen to the show?
Right.
And he was very complimentary. He was saying, yeah, that this whole new, the podcasters and this whole new media and bloggers or anything, you're kind of the next generation, although we're probably his age.
Yeah, we are his age. I am for sure.
But that was just great. And he was just so gracious. And it was just great to hear.
Super nice guy.
Oh, super nice. Yeah. I went to his panel the next day, and in every issue of the Las Vegas Advisor, he lists Las Vegas's top 10 values. And, sometimes they change from month to month. Sometimes, it stays the same. But it was great because at his panel, he went into detail on all 10 from the current list, explaining why and how, they've come onto the list or they've disappeared, that kind of thing. So it's just great. I mean, he had it was so interesting. He was talking about where you can still get free parking. And he said, for example, Planet Hollywood, you can still get free parking. It's like, that seems surprising, right? Why would, all these Caesars properties? But I guess it's a deal with the mall there. That all the shops, I guess they kind of had to make a deal where no, they want free parking. So that's why, could do it.
Right.
Anyway, great panel. Is fantastic to meet.
See, that's
great.
He's got the kind of information that appeals to us.
Oh, yeah. Like the free parking and the shrimp and the shrimp cocktail.
And stuff like, what games are good to play.
That's the thing is he's an advantage player, right? I mean, we're recreational players. He's, been in the trenches. So, that was great. And then right after the cocktail party was the ZorkFest dinner, and we sat at a table. There were a lot of different people. I think the Vice Lounge Online guys were there, and Mitchell was there, and Pat was there. Pat we hadn't seen since, our Luxor VIMF meetup. I think that was the last time we saw him when it was that. And it was at that table that Mitchell was actually saying, hey, what's the deal with that recording at the end of your show now, right? That we talked about on our live episode. We'll talk about that a little bit more too later on in the episode.
There were a few funny things at that table, and now I can't remember.
I can't either. We were laughing so hard, weren't we?
Hard. Yeah. And now for the life of me, I can't remember. I mean, I was so tired. Yeah. That whole weekend, I was so tired, and I can't remember. But I do remember just laughing. Yeah. I remember at one point my eyes were watering because I was laughing about something so hard that my eyes were watering, and I was like, oh, I hope people don't think I'm crying or something. I just was laughing so hard.
We'll never remember.
No.
Maybe, I don't know, somebody at the table can probably, well, we talked about so many different things.
Right. Well, if anyone who was at the table,
remembers a specific joke.
Right. Call up. But there were a few jokes. I can't remember what we were laughing about.
It was fun. And then right after that was the charity craps tournament for Travel Fanboys Pangea Educational Development Charity. And that was, it's funny because I enjoyed doing it and it was fun. But ultimately I came away thinking craps is not a good game for tournaments.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's funny about it. If you really want to do well, you kind of have to play different than you normally would.
Absolutely.
So when you're a craps player like us, if you're not a craps player, it's probably not a big deal. But when you're like us, it's like, no, I don't want to make a $500 field bet. It's just one of those, it's so against our nature to do what we were doing.
Well, and there's so many different bets that you can make. In a blackjack tournament, which is a good tournament, everybody pulls their bets back before the next betting round, and then you go in order. It's just a single bet. Whereas with like a craps tournament, I had money in the field and I won. So do I have to take everything back, or do I just take my winnings back? And what about all the other bets that I have? I don't know.
Right.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Did you make the second round? No,
I did.
You did.
It's so funny, Mike, because the first round I thought, you know what I'm going to do? We got $1,000 in chips. And I said, I'm going to put $500 on the don't pass and see if I can just make a quick hit right away.
Right.
First roll, 7.
Yeah.
So I lost. So I was playing catch up the whole rest of the time.
Yeah.
And I was doing it in the field. And sure enough, the field numbers were coming up. So I was able to actually recoup and make it to the next round.
Right.
So then the second round, I have the same idea. Yeah, $500 on the don't pass. 7 was the first roll.
Yeah. And that you didn't recover
That I did
from.
not recover from.
Yeah.
So that's as far as
now
either of us went.
I had the highest chip count of anybody in the first round.
That's
not
right.
just
Yeah,
our
that's right.
table,
Yeah.
but anybody.
Yeah.
Because I put a ton of money on 4 and 10.
That's right. Yeah.
And 4s and 10s were coming out like crazy. So I put 500. I'm getting 1,000. We started with 1,000. What did I cash out for?
like 6,000?
No,
was
it was
that
like
much?
8.
Oh,
it was
gosh.
like 8,000 or something. Why doesn't this happen in real life?
I know, that's what
I
we
was
should
telling
be
Mark later, I should just put $500 4 and 10 and just see what happens.
Well, I should just bet the field $300 at a time because
Yeah,
I
the
cashed
field-
out there for like 3,000.
the field numbers were coming up like crazy. I mean, it was something we normally don't do, but it just worked out.
Yeah.
Then we get to the second round, and it's like the exact opposite.
Yeah, we
it was like
couldn't
regular craps all of a sudden.
That's right.
No field numbers, 4 and 10 didn't come up.
So yeah, you and I were eliminated before even the end of the round.
Right.
We lost all our
Wasn't even
chips.
close.
So, yeah.
Hey, it's fun.
I mean, it was fun, especially with all the people there that we knew, and yeah, we were
giving
having
people
a good
hard times.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So right after that, of course, we head down to the real craps tables at TI. And this was a very good experience. We played there with Eric. Oh, it's so funny because Eric, before we met Eric this trip.
This isn't Eric Rosenthal.
No, right. The Eric from Spokane, Washington, right? So before we met up with him, you and I are talking about it. I think Neil even brought it up. Oh, yeah, Eric. And you're saying, Eric? And I'm saying, yeah, Mike Eric. You know, the guy that we spent almost all of our time with last time we were in Vegas. And you're thinking, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I just like that. Who are you talking about?
And then finally it occurs, oh, God, yes, Eric.
As we were walking, all of a sudden it just stopped. Oh, Eric.
Yeah, you didn't have to see him to finally
all of a
figure it out.
sudden I
Luckily,
figured it out. Yeah.
But anyway, we were playing at TI. We were there with Eric and Tyler, listener Tyler, who turned out to also be from Spokane. That was kind of interesting. So Eric and Tyler talked about that quite a bit. And Charles, remember at the other end of the table,
from Mississippi.
He came up. Yeah. So we played there for a while and actually did pretty well. I'll tell you, tell me if you disagree. The drink service, at least at the craps table there, was the best drink service as far as how often she came around, the best drink service I've ever had at any casino.
Oh, I'd agree 100%.
Yeah.
That woman was on fire. She
Yeah.
was coming around like crazy. And I asked for a Mountain Dew.
That's right. Yeah.
And she brought me a Mountain Dew.
Because she couldn't just go to the nearest bar. She had to bring you a can, didn't she?
She brought me a can from somewhere.
Maybe she
and
went
a
to the
thing
gift
of
shop or
ice.
something, yeah.
I don't know what she did, but I mean, I tipped her heavily. And Mountain Dew? Yeah, okay, I'll get it for you. And then she said something like, well, I can't go. It'll take me a few minutes. But man, she was back right
there.
away.
Yeah. The crews at TI were great. You know, we've heard a lot of good things about the blackjack at TI, and that was confirmed when we were there from other players.
Right.
Oh, yeah, 3-2 at all the tables. I came up and was watching Bogan play some video poker, and I'm thinking, is this full pay bonus? And sure enough, he's playing a dollar machine. Everything was full pay.
Everything was full pay.
Everything was full pay. And in fact,
It was right next to the craps table.
it was
too.
very close there. Kind of on a side note, I don't know if this happened. Melanie, did she play this at TI? I think this happened at TI. And Melanie, I'm sorry if I'm wrong here, but anyway.
I don't think it was at TI.
All right. Well, anyway, Melanie, this reminds me of it now, just talking video poker. Melanie was playing some video poker. She put $100 in the machine and she was playing quarters, 25 cents.
Yeah.
Right. So $1.25 a hand. And she played, was losing. She got down to her last $20 and she thought, time for bed, or I don't know what. She was just, I'll just finish up. So I'll switch to dollars, which means only 4 more hands.
Right.
Right. And she hit a royal.
Yeah.
So $1, so that's $4,000. Whereas if she'd stayed on quarters and hit it, it would have only been $1,000.
Right.
So
it was funny because her and I were playing craps before that, and it wasn't going too well.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Oh, I'm going to go to bed." And then I'm playing with Gina. And Gina says, oh, look at this. And I guess Melanie had either texted her or put it on something or other. Somehow she was notified that Melanie had just hit a roll. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think you sarcastically congratulated Melanie later on.
Yeah. I was like, oh, why does that not happen? How come when I'm not down to my last $20 don't I hit a royal?
All right, you hit a $15,000 slot once when you were down to nothing.
I know.
So,
we're sounding terrible. We're complaining.
I know, we're complaining
the
about
limo.
all this stuff. These spoiled brats.
Yeah, these spoiled brats.
So that was pretty much Friday. That was another time where I just went to bed, and I don't know if you played a little bit. I think you played a little bit more, but it didn't really amount to much.
Didn't amount to much. We did not. In the long run, I did not have good luck at TI at the craps table.
It's really too bad because that first night we did.
The first night we did,
and then after
that it was poor.
Yeah,
so
that was too bad. So then it was Saturday, and it was time for all the ZorkFest panels. And Vito, cousin Vito, he did the introduction, a very nice speech that he had laid out. And it was so funny because he had to get back home for a wedding the next day.
Right.
So he could not stay for all of ZorkFest. He was not able to stay there for Podcasters After Dark. So it was so funny because around like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, he's in that conference room area with his suitcase. He's like packing right there. He's not even in his room doing it, right? And Big Lou is kind of watching him pack because I think he had different
he got to
flights.
Stay a little longer.
A little bit later. But good hosting from Vito, as always. And then we had lunch. We took part in the ZorkFest lunch. We sat at a table with, Brian was there, who you had met at
in Southern Indiana.
Right? I hadn't met him yet. I think Pat was at the table with us too. It was very sandwichy, wasn't it?
It was a lot of sandwich.
I love sandwiches,
sandwich food,
but it might have been a little too much bread, and that's my fault.
You got
two big
tuna.
sandwiches. I had one tuna. No, I had one tuna.
You had one tuna.
Yeah, that's right.
They had soup too.
Oh yeah, that was
the
good.
soup
That's
was
right.
pretty good.
It was not bad. So a good lunch there, and then panels in the afternoon. I went to Heather Ferris's panel. Heather Ferris from Vegas-Aces did a panel on table games. And afterwards, I was talking to her and I asked her, she used to be a dealer. And this whole Vegas Aces thing is like a free way to train dealers. You go online, you can see her videos, and she just basically offers it for free so that people can get jobs.
Very nice.
So I was asking her, well, when she was dealing, on what game did she receive the most tips, and on which game did she receive the fewest? And I'm talking about number of tips, not necessarily the big tips or something like that.
Just that people tip the most.
Right.
I'm going to say most blackjack.
Mm-hmm.
Fewest is Pai Gow.
Yep. That's what she said, Pai Gow poker. And that is consistent with what we've heard from other dealers too.
Right.
Blackjack, I think people know how to make a bet for the dealer.
Right.
It's very common,
simple.
Put it there. Pai Gow poker, it's really the same thing. You just, put $1 in front of your bet or whatever. But maybe it's because people are playing Pai Gow poker because they want to play slowly, and so they're they're less likely to tip. I don't know.
Well, and there's a lot of pushing. I don't know.
No, that's
you don't get
true
on runs in Pai Gow. There's no guy that says, I just won 12 hands in a row at Pai Gow, right? But on blackjack, you'll get in runs where, I won 3 in a row and I raised my bet and I won again, and then I doubled it and I won again.
It is less likely,
You're more likely to tip at that point because you've won a bunch of money. And Pai Gow, it's like, push, win. And it's like, I won one, then push again, then lose, then win one. So you're not in that mode where like, oh my God, I've won so much, I've got a tip.
Well, let's just remind everybody then, if you are playing Pai Gow poker, don't forget to take care of your dealers.
Right.
And in fact, when we were at Downtown Grand, and I was just watching everybody play Pai Gow, and I just real loudly said, so that everybody at the table could hear and the dealer could hear, something like, I hope you're tipping. I hope you're tipping here at Pai Gow poker. So I think our group,
people tip?
They were already tipping. They were already tipping. So that was good.
Good gamblers.
Yeah, good gamblers. While we were in Vegas, it was after the Vegas Golden Knights had made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but before any of the games had started.
Right.
So the town was just a buzz.
Right. I bet it was really a buzz after they won the first game.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Yeah. I bought a nice shirt, a polo shirt with the Vegas Golden Knights logo in the corner. Very classy looking.
Yeah, very classy.
I got it because I can even wear it to work. It's not like a T-shirt. So
you can wear that you wear that to your son's wedding.
Oh, absolutely. And so, even some of the dealers were, they'd look at me, oh, you going to the game? It's like, no, not going to the game, not going to the game. But
he figured a guy wearing a shirt that nice must be going to the game. I'm wearing
tickets.
a T-shirt. He's like, oh, that guy probably found that T-shirt somewhere.
Well, yours wasn't even a Golden Knights T-shirt. It probably had Iron Man on it. So he's thinking, maybe he's rich too. Maybe this is Tony Stark. Well, when this episode actually posts, now the Golden Knights are down 3-1. So when people listen to this, it might be over. But
Washington's a great team.
Yeah,
Washington's a great team. I mean, they move the puck so well. They're so coordinated, and Vegas is a good team too.
Yes,
and they still might win. I mean, there's 3 games left, and 2 of them are at home.
And the Capitals have won 3 in a row, right?
Right. So Vegas might win 3 in a row and win. Yeah. But if they do lose, they lost to a very good team. There's nothing to be ashamed about that.
And I do kind of feel sorry for Capitals fans because because they've been waiting for this for so long, but the whole country's rooting for Vegas, right?
Everyone except if you live in the D.C. area is rooting for them.
So anyway, so then Saturday night, it was time for Podcasters After Dark. We got there a little bit early. We were there like an hour early or something. And, you know, people weren't really there.
I can't remember why.
I just think we wanted to make sure we knew where it was. And we sat with Robin from Anytime Gambling for a while and talked with him for a bit. Great event. Eric Rosenthal hosted. First up was Julian and Shane from Vegas Confessions. They kind of did just an introductory thing, you know, talking about how much they enjoy the podcasting community and how much fun they're having. And then Scott from Vital Vegas went up and did his show. His girlfriend Emery was sitting at the table with us. I think he embarrassed her pretty badly, but I think she's used to it.
Yeah.
If you listen to his show, he does that quite a bit. I think she kind of is used to it.
She's probably used to it.
Although she was kind of moving like she wanted to go under the table.
Although my wife, after watching it, said, I would have killed him.
So there you go.
Good for her. She took it.
And then we went on. I think it went well enough. People seem to be receptive to us, I guess. We're just sitting up there like a couple of idiots. And then Adam from Travel Fanboy went up.
He was terrible.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was pretty bad. Boy, he said something about, I don't even remember the joke exactly, but he said something about, the kick me in the nuts guy that works on the strip. You know, like one of those guys that kicked me in the nuts and I was laughing so hard and so long after that. Oh my God. It's funny because Eric Rosenthal said to us and to Adam, said, you guys split a Trippy Award a few years back, right? It was like the editor's choice for Trippy Award, and it was split between the two of us. And so Eric said, well, I've come up with a new award called the Zorkie. And so if it's okay with you, after the Podcasters After Dark, we'll take a vote, like from the audience, to see who wins the Zorkie. So it was, by applause and that kind of thing. So, they said, oh, how much for You Can Bet on That? We got some applause. And then how much for Travel Fanboy? He got way more applause than we did.
Well, you know what happened, though? Everyone who likes us left after us because they figured, it's Adam. I don't want to sit
now
through
it explains
this.
it.
Yeah, so there was like a handful of our fans
that
left.
Explains
and then
it.
all of his fans came into the room. They creeped in the side doors and stuff.
Oh, Adam's up there. That explains it.
It's either that or Adam piped in applause.
I couldn't figure it out. But now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. So Eric was actually very diplomatic. He said, well, I think that's about the same. So he gave the Zorkie to Scott from Vital Vegas.
There you go. He deserved it. After what he said, I think he deserved it.
And then afterwards, we went down to the craps tables there. And like you were saying, at TI there, there was really not very good. But you did do something that you promised you were going to do while you were there.
I told you I would.
What'd you do?
I yelled out Muckleshoot. And I didn't, there was nothing to preface it. It wasn't like anything happened. Just right in the middle when it was kind of quiet, I yelled out as loud as I could, Muckleshoot. Yeah. And everybody turned around. The table behind us, everybody looked. What did he say?
Yeah, there was like silence. I mean, everybody looked, even people that were with us who were kind of anticipating it didn't respond. And also there's this silence and all these confused gamblers. Like, what?
What's that mean?
Muckleshoot. I don't understand that.
I was waiting for the right time.
It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
We should say real quick, in case someone listening did not listen to Podcasters After Dark, we should talk about Scott saying that people don't acknowledge the losses that he's had.
Right.
They always, great win, nice win when you win, but they don't acknowledge like the $5,000 he lost before that, trying to win the $1,500 that he hit on a jackpot. Yep. And we were saying, what were he said?
He said, just go up to these people, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, just start telling people, I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm going to try that on you this weekend. Let's see if you think it's funny.
Yeah, I'll see how funny I think that is. My wife says we should get little cards printed up with a silhouette of my dad that just say sorry for your loss.
Not even just a silhouette, just a picture of him on his scooter. At a slot machine, just looking at the camera, and then just the caption, sorry for your loss. We absolutely have to do that, Mike. We absolutely have to.
That'll be our calling card.
Oh my gosh.
Be our new podcast.
That's fantastic.
Sorry for your loss.
That'll be our new just rebrand it. This is the new show. Welcome to Sorry for Your Loss.
There's a lot more material.
Way more material. And then on Sunday, we woke up and we went over to the link and we played craps with our buddy Larry for the first time. Now, when I say first time, real craps. We've played with him out here at card craps at Southern California.
We wanted to test his luck with dice because evidently Larry can roll some dice. And actually, he did.
I think he did okay. Yeah,
he did good.
We were there.
Well, he did really good at Harrah's.
He did?
Yeah.
Was I playing with you?
No, you had given up by that time.
Oh, yeah.
And Larry had a really good, very good roll.
Okay, so that's the proof then.
That's the proof. That's all I needed.
Yeah. And Michael Traeger then, from Travel Zork, he came over and played with us. We had not played with him before. And this is great because it was me and Michael between us and then you. And so I shot first. And I made a bet on the all small tall.
Right.
Which I have never done. Sometimes you've placed the bet for me, which I appreciate, but this time I put 5-5-5, and sure enough, I rolled the tall. Didn't roll them all, but I rolled the tall.
Right. You got very close to them all.
Yep, I did. And that's the only time I've made that bet. It'll probably be the only time I ever will. So I can say for my entire life, I am ahead for the all small tall bet.
And so is Michael Traeger.
Michael got the dice. He bet it for the first time. I think he rolled all the small.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Then later you were claiming, or you said, I might also be up for all small tall for my life. Do you think that's true still?
Yeah.
You think you really are? There's no way to prove it, but you've had some big wins.
No, I've had some real big wins. And
multiple ones.
If I'm not up, remember at
the D?
The D?
Mm-hmm.
When I cashed out for like 12,000, most of that was all tall.
That's true, because it was like one shooter did it twice or like back to back, something like that.
Yeah, back to back shooters.
Yeah,
got them all.
Yeah,
I can't say for sure.
Sure, there's no.
And I don't want. I can't. I have no proof of this, but if I am not up for that, I am very, very close.
Okay, all right.
Well, yeah, because you're putting $5, $10, $15, $20.
Yeah, well,
depending on how my luck's going. But you hit a $20 one.
Yeah,
all of them.
High house edge, but high volatility too.
Yeah,
so if you get on a streak, you could easily be up for it. So all right, I'll give you that. A little bit later on the day on Sunday, we headed over to the Mirage. We weren't doing too well, but we were at the Mirage, and this guy was playing the don't.
Yeah.
And every time the dice got to him, he shot from the don't.
Oh, my God.
Now,
he was a great shooter.
There's nothing wrong with doing that. I would never do it unless I'm by myself at a table.
Right.
Or we're all betting the don't. Fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you would want to, because when you have those great rolls, like he consistently did.
You know what's funny?
He's just getting mad,
If you have an immediate out, he wins very little.
Right.
And
if he's making don't come bets as well, right.
Uh-huh. And if he has a roll where, let's say he make don't come bets and he loses two of those don't comes, when he sevens out, he might actually lose or barely break even.
Sure.
And then if he has monster rolls like he was having, he wipes himself out. Yep. I mean, he huffed away so bad.
I know.
And I'm like, well, you shot.
I know.
What the hell are you complaining about? If he had any faith in himself, he would have won a ton of money like we did. Instead, he wiped himself out.
Yeah,
it was so funny. He finally left and huffed off, and he came back and did the exact same thing, remember? Wiped himself out again, and then left, and he went to another table, and our table started getting cold, so we colored up and we moved to his table. And the pit boss walks over, gets right next to me and whispers in my ear, "Yeah, follow that guy around."
Exactly. Oh my God, that was so funny.
It was so funny. He's just like, without me saying anything to him, he says, "Yeah, follow that guy around."
I know what you're doing. Good, keep it up.
Keep it up.
And then one funny thing at this table, we were laughing about this, and this might be one of those you had to be there kind of things, but there were these two guys at the other end of the table. I don't know, kind of dorky looking.
Well, they typical like Vegas people.
They definitely belonged in a casino.
Right, they definitely.
One guy had a shirt that said Deep Stack. Yeah. I don't know what else it was.
It just said Deep Stack.
Deep Stack, okay. And then the other guy had one of the worst comb overs you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
And so we just immediately started calling him Deep Stack and Comb Over.
Well, Mark, you started.
Did I?
Said, when they walked up, you said, "Oh, this is going to be a good table. Look we got Deep Stack here." And I turned to you and said, "Yeah, and his buddy Comb Over," because the guy had this terrible comb over. And then Mark's like, "Oh, that'd be a perfect cop show."
Yeah, we're thinking, 70s cop show, right? Deep Stack and Comb Over.
Oh my God. And they look like they could definitely have been two undercover cops.
Well, we kept playing the rest of the day. It was going pretty badly. Let's just be honest. This was another pretty bad trip as far as the gambling went.
Was not good.
We played as much as we could to try to recover. In fact, we even missed the meetup at Luxor, the 360 Vegas Vacation meetup at Luxor, because we're trying to make some more money.
Right.
But we did meet everybody downtown. We went to downtown Grand, and it was kind of funny because we just picked downtown Grand just because we thought, well, it's probably not going to be that busy, and we enjoy playing there.
Right. I enjoyed playing there. We won there, actually.
Yeah. And so it's funny because we tweeted that we were going down there, and then people started saying, oh, yeah, I'm here now. There's like one guy at the craps table. Well, once we all showed up, the craps table was full.
Packed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We took that place over.
Right.
And I guess you were doing okay. The way I was betting, I don't know. I was doing
I did good.
Yeah,
I won a couple thousand. But you know what? I was thinking about this afterwards. I liked TI and I liked going to the Mirage, playing there and stuff. And we did Harrah's and the Link and Planet Hollywood. I liked playing at all those places. We didn't do that well gambling, but I do like Downtown Grand, and we won there.
Yeah.
And then we got a bunch of freebies, remember?
Oh, yeah. That was great. You actually thought about, hey, let's go see if I've got any free play.
Right.
So you went up there. You did have some free play. I thought, well, I'll run my card through, and I did. And then Dave... Poker 4 Roulette Dave, he ran his card through. He had some too.
He had free play. We all went and sat at a machine, played our free play, and then played some points that I had.
That's right. After that,
got money for that, and then they gave me some vouchers, which I played blackjack with, and so I think I cashed out for maybe like $400 or $500 more from free play stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I don't know what happened. I was doing like continuous come bets, and that just was not the way to go.
Well, and then after you quit, there was a hot roll.
Yeah, and then I went over and played blackjack and just didn't go well. And at that point, I'd reached my loss limit for the trip. So I just thought, well, that's it. And that really was all that I played for the rest of the trip. But I'm glad we went down there because we did meet a lot of people who had not been there for ZorkFest, but were there for 360 Vegas Vacation. We saw Todd and Amanda. We made a bet for Todd on the Indy 500 because last year he had made a bet for us based on your pick, and it was a winner. This year, you picked Ed Carpenter. In fact, what we did it was funny, Podcasters After Dark, I'm looking at my phone and it's like, oh my gosh, the race starts at like 9 a.m. here tomorrow.
Right.
So Mark Meltzer from Edge Vegas, he took us down to show us where the sportsbook was because we didn't know. So we made
they had a nice sportsbook.
Yeah, it was nice there. So anyway, you had picked Ed Carpenter to win.
He finished second.
But
I told you at the beginning, I said, Ed, it's going to be Ed Carpenter or Will Power.
Maybe you said that, but that you didn't say, hey, also make a bet on Will Power.
No, I didn't.
You didn't say
that?
Because
I just wanted to pick one.
All right.
But he was the one I was worried about.
Yeah.
And I also thought, and this turned out not to be so accurate, but I thought Danica Patrick might have a shot because it's her final race.
Yeah.
And, she's come close and she's a good driver and she had a fast car. She qualified in the top 10.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, maybe... for whatever reason, they let her win or everything.
Well, they wouldn't let her win. That's for sure. She crashed, didn't she?
She was involved in a crash. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, so we got the second place.
Yeah.
Which gets us nothing.
Yeah, we should have bet him to place.
Yeah.
But it was great. We saw Mark and Karen from 360 Vegas, saw Alistair. We met Sean, who had called in previously about weird bets on the cruise ships. And like I said before, Poker 4 Roulette Dave. Oh, he gave us these nice little lammers. They were like these dealer toke lammers. Yeah. So thanks again for that, Dave. And then we went back to the strip, and really, at this point, I was done, so I just watched you play. We went down to Cromwell and had a very nice run at Cromwell.
Very nice
or you
run.
did, I should say. Yeah,
some elderly gentleman rolled quite a hand.
Yes.
Quite a hand.
And
I had was it the 8? I had a $15 come bet with $1,000 odds.
Yeah, I think so. Because remember, 100 times odds at the Cromwell.
Yeah.
And it was...
And I wanted him to hit that so bad because I was going to go to 1,500. And then if that hit, I was going to up my... come bet because you can make put bets there.
Yes.
I was going to go to like 30 and 3,000 or something.
It was very exciting, and it was one of those cases where it was a great roll, but he wasn't betting that much.
Oh, poor guy. I mean, I don't.
But you tipped him afterwards, didn't you?
I gave him a couple $100.
That's
but
great.
I think he probably only had 200 in his rail at the end of that roll.
He seemed like the kind of guy that spends a lot of time at the craps table, so that's probably why he bets that way. Just to stay alive. Yeah. So,
but yeah, he had one of the best rolls I've seen in a long, long time, and it came at a nice time. It was it got me out of a hole.
Time. And one thing I noticed too when we were there, it's a new trend now for there to be charging stations for your phones. Certainly at slot machines, table games, that kind of thing. They actually had them at the craps table. First time I've seen it at any craps table.
I wonder how
they
that's
had them at
wired.
the Cromwell.
Yeah,
probably underneath.
Goes through the. Goes through the table?
It's just, well, I don't know. It's just power, right? And those tables remember they had that thing before where it would keep track of the rolls?
Right.
They obviously have power
that's
going
power.
in there, right?
Yeah,
So,
that must be. So I can get electrocuted at a craps table.
You can, yes. You can now.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you say, I got killed at the craps table, maybe you're saying it literally.
Qualify that. I don't mean literally.
And that was it. And then, Monday came around and things just, we weren't able to really recoup our losses. Like I said, I didn't play. I basically watched you play. Yeah. It was funny, though, because...
I gave back what I had won the night before at Cromwell all on Sunday.
We went back... Monday. This is frustrating because we went back to the Cromwell and doggone it, if it wasn't another crummy crew in the morning at Cromwell.
Yeah. What is their morning crew?
That had happened before.
Evening crew the night before was great.
Fantastic.
Very engaging, and they were nice and appreciative and everything, and the morning crew was just like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people?
We are not going back to the Cromwell in the morning anytime soon.
No.
It was
really the same old story. Remember the pit boss? He didn't even acknowledge when we walked up. There's like 2 people at the table. He just looked at us like, I got to put your card in the machine.
Yeah, and just talking amongst themselves. Yeah, it was really too bad. One thing that I did do though, while you were playing, I was just kind of looking around. I went over to the shoot to win craps machine, and nobody was playing it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm listening, and when people are playing it, the voice comes on and push the button. But when nobody's playing, the woman explains the game.
Oh, okay. In case somebody's watching,
right? And I'm listening, I'm thinking, I think it's a Canadian accent. Because, it would say, if you're a boot to make a bet. I don't know what it was, but it sounded very Canadian. And, the company, Aruz Gaming, they're out of Las Vegas. It's not a Canadian company as far as I know. So I wonder if anybody else has noticed that. If you're at a shoot to win, craps, again, it's when nobody's playing and she's going through a lot of dialogue.
Right.
I think she's Canadian.
It's probably just trying to appeal to Canadians, Mark.
Oh, really?
She's probably from Vegas, the voice, the woman who did it. They're just trying to appeal to Canadians. They figure, we'll just get a Canadian walking by. They'll hear this accent. And I'll play some shoot to win.
I think you're on the right track, but here's what it is. Canadians are so nice.
Yeah.
Remember Marie and Alan? They are so nice that people are more likely to play again. Oh, it's a Canadian game. Well, I'm going to come up and put my money in.
Yeah, that's pleasant.
That's probably it.
That's what they're thinking.
So, that was the trip. We did have a very good time. It's just the gambling didn't go very well, kind of like Gamblepalooza as well. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm sorry if we're forgetting to mention anyone or anything that we did here. Boy, when I was going through these show notes today, Mike, I'm like sweating because it's like, oh, that's right. I'm thinking of all these different things that came up, and I'm sure we're forgetting something.
No, I'm sure we are. I was so tired. Seriously, I'm still recovering.
I believe it. I know. Well, one of the things that I said I was going to do, and I did not do, was play face-up Pai Gow poker.
See, now that's opposite of me. I said I wasn't going to play it, and I did do it.
Oh, that's true, because you were playing it at the airport before we left. I was dealing it to you. We wanted to get a sense for it. But neither of us played it for real because we actually ended up not going down to South Strip.
Right.
But Todd Goddess did play some hands. He said he found $10 tables at New York, and Luxor, and $15 tables at Park MGM. And he texted me about an interesting hand. That's the thing is that, you play these hands like you never would in regular Pai Gow poker. The dealer had trip queens with a 6-5 up top. So that's the best the dealer could play. Trip queens in the 5-card hand and 6-5 up top. Well, now Todd's hand, he had a full house, but the trips in his full house were smaller than trip queens.
Okay.
So what he ended up doing was playing a full house in the 5-card hand and 9-4 in the 2-card hand.
Thank God he had a 9.
To beat the 6. Something you would never do in regular Pai Gow. You would always split up a full house in that case. You'd never keep the full house together.
No,
9-4
because play 9-4.
You'd end up pushing where you probably would normally win. But here was a case where he would have pushed if he played it the regular way,
right,
and ended up winning playing it this way.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I wonder though. I'd like to ask him this, and maybe he can respond to this. How many hands did he play? Did he think it really mattered that he saw the dealer?
That's a good question. I think he did say that during the time he played, he got hit with the ace-high push. It was like 2 or 3 times. And it's funny because when you and I were practicing at the airport, it happened to you twice.
Right.
So that is a good question. When you and I were doing it, it didn't come up very often.
When we were playing in the airport just practicing, It did not come up often at all. It's like most of the time it's like, well, I would have paid this way anyway.
Well, you think about when you're playing regular Pai Gow poker. Because we've thought about that before, where we'll be in a hand and it's like, oh man, if I'd known what the dealer had, I would have kept the two pair together. Right. How often does that happen? I don't know, twice an hour. 3 times an hour, maybe more than that.
So maybe it makes a little difference. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun to play those hands, the wrong way and end up winning as a result. Yeah. All right. Well, again, we had a great time, and thanks again to Michael Traeger and Eric Rosenthal for all their work, and for Tim Lawson, The Better Life, for sponsoring Podcasters After Dark.
Yeah, it was very fun. I thought it was a fun event.
Yeah, very much. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonThat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. Well, let's go on to our voicemail hotline. I don't know if we'll play all the calls that we've got in the hopper. Let's just see how it goes. Okay. Because we're running long. And we're actually recording very late tonight.
Very late.
Much later than we normally do. And I know you need to either get back to work or go to bed. I don't know what you're going to do.
It might be both.
But remember, call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Stan.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Stan from Maine, just giving you a trip report when I went out west. I had to go into the San Jose area in California for a business-related thing, and we're going to go to Vegas on Monday through like Wednesday, but then we realized it was a Kentucky Derby weekend and wanted to add that type of experience. And so when I got out of my commitment to work on Friday, I actually drove to Vegas from San Jose, left at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we ended up getting a place at South Point for the weekend because they had a Kentucky Derby little promotion, and my better half flew in and met me on Friday. And so it took about 8 hours, easy drive though, leaving at 4. Really enjoyed the drive. I was by myself. I got to South Point about 11:30 in the morning, walked in, they had a room for me. So I checked in early, vegged out for a little bit. I took kind of Mark's advice and don't jump right in. Let's relax for a little bit. At South Point, absolutely amazed. They have a nice Kentucky Derby deal. It's 2 nights, $200, whatever it worked out to be. They have a big ballroom with like 25 TVs to bet on the horse racing. Fantastic. Other than that, I played 95% of the time I played craps. Their craps are just double odds. It's fantastic in that sense because you can say, hey, I bet the maximum. I wish I could bet more, but I bet the maximum. But I'd highly recommend South Point to anybody that's thinking about going there. They have a bowling alley, movie theater. They have a steakhouse, which is really good. Overall, I was very impressed with South Point. And then it's Sunday through Wednesday, went to Caesars. Like Caesars, fantastic. No problems there. Played craps at Caesars. The lowest table they had there the whole time I was there, Sunday through Wednesday, was $15. I played by myself at a table a couple times. Deals were great. Actually talked all the time. I mean, I would stop rolling for a couple minutes, and meanwhile you're getting, some comps and everything else. Bellagio had a $10 table. Liked the Bellagio. It was fantastic there as well. They were nice, conversing pretty well. Went to a lot of different places, but those 3 big ones I had a great time at. Overall, very, very good. Blackjack, not as much. I don't play much blackjack, but it seemed like every time I sat down at a blackjack table, they had some type of little gimmick like the sevens and stuff. And every time a 7 hit, they would say, oh, you should have bet it. You should have bet it. And then the 10 times it doesn't, they don't say anything. So it just drove me crazy that every time a 7 came up, they say, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't bet that. But that's just a little pet peeve of mine. And then when we're done, my wife, she got her glasses at South Point, bringing her back. And she goes, you can just wait in the car. I'll run inside and grab them. Now, it's 105 degrees. If the car breaks down and the locks automatically come on, I can't get out of the car, I could die. And so I needed to go in there. And since she was going to be looking around, I figured I might as well jump on the craps table.
Yeah.
And since I knew I was only there 15 minutes, betting pretty big, and actually won quite a bit there just because, and they were a great crew. I had 2 rolls of the dice, and they were both quite good rolls, and that was that. Once we were done in Vegas, we actually went down your neck of the woods in San Diego. Unfortunately, I didn't see the previous podcast, and I went to your Harrah's there on a Friday night, but you guys changed to Saturday nights. It was mob, didn't really even play, just watched for a few minutes, and that's that. So that's a quick trip report to Vegas. Good time overall, and highly recommend South Point. I'll talk to you guys at some point. Thanks.
Good. Thanks, Stan. I'm laughing when he's talking about double odds, how nice that is.
Yes,
because you've kind of said that before. Mark, let's go somewhere where they don't have 10 times odds. I'm betting too much.
I need to save money. Your locks will not lock, and you can't die from heat exhaustion inside the car. But what could happen, and this is a legitimate concern.
Okay.
You could be picked up for some mental issues if you're sitting in a car outside a casino and not in the casino playing.
That's right. Yeah.
They might think, well, this guy's having an issue, a mental problem.
Right, he can't get past it.
Yeah, you could get picked up for that.
Or they'll escort you into the casino.
Yeah,
is that something that they might also do?
You have a choice. We're going to take you down to the hospital, or we'll just take you to the casino and get you a nice seat at the craps table.
Yeah. And so luckily Stan avoided that very awkward situation with the police and went in. That's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, no record or anything. Just
we played at Caesar's Palaces last time too. Great crews there when we were there.
They were great. Yeah. They were excellent.
It's funny, you were talking about minimums. We were there on Monday morning and there were only 2 tables open, a $25 and a $50 table.
Yeah, right.
That was it.
For
Monday
Monday morning.
Yeah, so that's one thing about Caesars. You never know quite what the minimums are going to be there.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from Matt.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Matt calling in from Arizona, formerly of Vegas Bright. Hope you guys have been well. So I am heading out to Vegas June 2nd through 5th. So I don't think this would actually make it before the next podcast comes out. But it's the no man's land between ZorkFest and 360 VV6, and then there's a poker meetup that I'm missing that next weekend, the weekend of the Belmont Stakes. So heading down there, father-son trip, and me and my dad, he hasn't really played a ton of craps. So I was going to take him out and introduce him to the game, and I think after having listened to one episode of your show, we're going to place the 6 and 8, pass line with maybe 2-3 times odds. And one thing I'm going to do, and I wanted to make sure that I got it on here so I can brag about it when it happens. I call it the Dr. Mike. I'm just going to put $5 on each hard way and then just keep pressing that until they hit 3 times each. So that's my goal. Wanted to make sure I got it down here and had proof that I was going to call my shot. Same with getting a royal flush in video poker. So I will give you guys a ring back and let you know how the trip report went, and maybe you can put them both on the same show back to back, assuming everything works out. Enjoy heading out there this weekend, guys. Really still loving the show, and glad to hear that you guys sound like you're doing well. All right. See you later.
So we have not heard back from Matt yet. Don't know if this happens. 3 times, though.
That would be. It's rough. That's rough. Even that's rough for me.
I know.
But I'll tell you
you're
what.
happy when it happens twice.
Yeah, if he hits that, how sweet that would be.
Well, I agree.
No, that would make my week.
All right. Well, hopefully by the next episode we'll hear back.
I hope
Matt
he hits it. That'd be the highlight. I'd be talking about that to everybody.
Okay, good. Yeah. I hope that happens. Matt, just call back and say you did it. All right. Just make Dr. Mike happy.
Just do it.
All right, let's just do one more call, and then we'll save the rest of them for next time. Let's hear from Tyler.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Tyler from Tempe, Arizona. Just calling quick trip report from my weekend in Vegas. First of all, it was a pleasure meeting you gentlemen at the craps table Friday evening. Just a few notes on Treasure Island. I'm still really happy with the hotel. Typically, I never stay on the strip, but once a year if I have kids or whatnot with me, which was the situation this past weekend, had a little family event. But there was plenty of room at all the tables, plenty of room at the craps tables. The room rates are reasonable. All the blackjack I played was 3-2. I mean, it was great in comparison to what's out there on the strip these days. So nothing big. It was a great weekend and I could get to gamble a whole lot just because I was limited due to all the family stuff I had going on and whatnot. But as it turned out, I did not have a losing session. Before I saw you guys, I was up about 300 playing blackjack. Went over to the craps table. Mark had a couple other decent rolls. Nothing crazy. We were probably only there maybe an hour, if that. I don't even know if it was that long. And the come-out bets seemed to be paying. So ended up about plus 400 there. And really, I was just playing $10 on the pass line, 2 times odds, and 2 come bets at a time with 2 times odds, and gradually kind of trickled my way up a little bit. So it was good. Anyways, following night, sat down at the Pie table. It's up about $100 or so, and ended up hitting another straight flush on my bonus bet. So left up that table about $350, mixed in with another small blackjack session, ended up about $1,500 or so. Anyways, it was a great weekend. I was only there 2 nights, limited gambling, but the highlight was definitely get to play with you guys a little bit. Really appreciated the time. Too bad I tried parlaying the only hard way I hit, and unfortunately it didn't make, and appreciate Mike kicking me over a few chips, just spot me on that bet, which he did not have to do so. So I do owe him a few bucks next time I see you guys at a craps table. Hopefully I can get you guys out to Laughlin, as I mentioned, one of these weekends. It'd be great to see you there. Again, thanks a lot. Appreciate all you guys do, and hopefully I'll see you again soon in the future. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. It was great to play. That was a good session that we had with him there.
Yeah, he missed out on that because I kept my bet out there, and then the hard
and it hit again.
It hit again. That's why I reimbursed him his hard way.
Well, it sounds like he had a good gambling trip. And, again, positive things to say about TI. We had a great experience there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing there. I'll probably be back there
playing. I think so, too.
Yeah.
We've heard nothing but positive things about TI, with one exception. I think Kelly called in and said that she witnessed some pretty shady behavior going on at the poker room. So maybe
right. That was before.
So maybe avoid the poker room, but everything else, we definitely enjoyed it. So, like I said, we've got some more calls. We'll save them for next time. A few things that are coming up. So, just this week, sports wagering has begun in Delaware. So, Delaware actually beat New Jersey to sports wagering.
Wow.
And I think Eric Rosenthal and Tim Lawson, on the last episode of The Better Life, they said they were going to try to go down there on opening day, which was, I believe, June 5th. So, we're recording this on the 6th. So yesterday.
Yes.
So maybe we'll hear back from them and see how that went. Also, Belmont Stakes now is this Saturday. Justify right now is a 4-5 favorite. I'm imagining those odds are going to get worse. In other words, it'll be like 1-5 or whatever.
Right.
And that's why we've said maybe not a good bet. Now, Mike, Tenfold, that horse that your wife liked,
yes,
he's running in this race, right? At 12-1 is the morning line on Tenfold. So, maybe
she'll probably bet on him
bet
again.
on that. So, good luck on that. We don't think it's going to be a Triple Crown winner, but, prove us wrong, Justify. Prove us wrong. And then the World Cup starts on June 14th. What group was the USA in here? They were
they were in.
Was it B?
I think it was like Group Z.
I don't see it here.
There's a Z group.
I'll have to look through here a little bit later and find out exactly where the USA is.
What is their problem?
Right now, Germany looks like is the favorite. Depending on the sports book you look at, 7-2 favorites, 9-2 favorites. Brazil, France, Spain in the top 4. Argentina. If you go just top 5, Germany, Brazil, France, Spain, Argentina. We are in.
Make a pick right now.
Make a pick?
Yeah.
What, Germany?
Just
I mean, I hate to.
Germany is going to win this.
I don't.
They're very, very good.
Yeah. I don't follow it too closely, but we are part of a World Cup pool that Vegas Bun Boy put together. It's not for money or anything. Just we were randomly assigned, and you and I were assigned Uruguay.
Nice.
Which is, not a bad team to have. So I think we did okay with that.
They're in the top 10.
Top 25-1. Maybe that's what we should try to do, is see if we can make a bet on Uruguay before it starts here.
$100 hairs.
All right, $100. The first game of the World Cup starts on June 14th. All right, and finally, like we said on our live broadcast, there's a clip that you hear at the very end of the show.
The very end.
That you have to listen all the way to the end. And I said that this clip is from a movie or a TV show. And we would offer a $100 Amazon gift card to whoever can figure out what it's from. And I said it's very hard. We've already had a few guesses. A couple people thought it might be from the Brady Bunch. Which is not a bad guess, but it's not
You're
from the
a big
Brady
Bunch fan,
yeah, that's
too.
right.
So. Somebody
Somebody thought it might be from Mork and Mindy. He was listening to it and thought, I don't think she's saying Mark. I think she's saying Mork. Mike, Mork, you're very talented. No. I love that guess, but it's not from Mork and Mindy.
Okay.
And then this last weekend, I tweeted about a Laverne and Shirley episode. I had Laverne and Shirley on Sunday. It's like, what am I doing?
As anyone should.
And Harry Dean Stanton showed up on this episode.
Oh, God.
He was playing this singer that Laverne and Shirley had a crush on. I don't know, like kind of a lounge singer. So it was Harry Dean Stanton, if you can imagine that.
Right.
He's like in a leisure suit and everything. And of course, they find out that he's not a very good person, right? That's what they find out here. And I tweeted about that, and a few people said, oh, is that a clue? For the clip at the end? No, it had nothing to do with that. Just me watching Laverne and Shirley.
Are you a Lenny or a Squeaky guy?
Oh gosh, I got to go.
You're a Shirley guy, I assume.
Oh, I'll tell you something. Okay, Laverne and Shirley, Cindy Williams on that show was hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, she is funny.
She's funny.
She really.
I knew you would like Shirley better.
Oh, of
so
course.
what'd you say, Lenny or Squiggy?
Lenny. Yeah,
like
Squiggy's
Lenny?
a little over the. They're both kind of over the top, but I got to go with Lenny.
Squiggy's annoying.
Yeah.
Right. He's annoying. Lenny, he's annoying, but not that bad. I can put up with him.
That's why That's why I'm a.
I'm a Lenny and Shirley.
Oh. Okay, so you're saying that's what I am?
No, that's what I am.
Oh.
It's probably what you are too.
All right, let's talk about this after the show. How about that? Anyway, starting next episode, I'll start to give hints for this because I think it's pretty hard. I don't think anybody's going to get it.
I don't think you should start next episode.
Really? You think it should be 2 episodes?
At least 2 or 3 episodes. Give them a little bit of time.
Right, we'll also talk
Otherwise,
about that after the show.
Give them hints. Somebody might get it right away.
Nah, I'm not going to give hints that are too obvious.
Oh, okay.
There'll be hints that'll take a while for people to digest.
It's a woman saying it.
Yeah, that'll probably be the first thing. She's talking to Mark and Mike. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, from Michael, thank you very much. Also, from Coach Matt, he said, all caught up with episodes and have loved every minute of it. Please use this donation to buy many bottles of Mountain Dew to keep the craps games going and whatever else you need to do to keep the podcast humming along. From Coach Matt. Yeah, he's just kind of getting into craps. So
he likes the Mountain Dew, too.
He loves the Mountain Dew.
Craps and Mountain Dew. I mean, that's a winning combo.
That's perfect. Also, a PayPal donation from Tim. He said a karma donation for an upcoming golf and gambling trip to Belterra Casino in Indiana. All the best, Tim from Tennessee. So good luck, Tim, on that. Also, from Michael James, he says heading to Reno on June 7th, then down to Vegas for one night, June 11th. I always eagerly await your horse racing selections. Can't wait to hear your World Cup analysis. Hint, bet the over in the Argentina-Iceland group match. Keep up the good work. Hey, I'll tell you, if you want some good advice on the World Cup, go listen to Tim Lawson's latest Better Life. He actually goes through. He spends like 20 minutes talking about all the different groups and everything.
Really?
And all we're going to do is just
give you nonsense.
Well, Germany's going to win. That's all we're going to say.
Well, they are going to win.
And then finally from Vince. He says, karma donation, thanks for the great work. Thank you very much, Vince. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. All right, Dr. Mike.
I'm just laughing to myself about Coach Matt talking about Mountain Dew. Because first of all, he said bottles of Mountain Dew. And I love bottles versus cans.
Glass bottles of Mountain Dew.
Glass
if you can
bottles
get
are the best.
Yeah.
But then plastic bottle. I'd rather drink out of a plastic bottle of Mountain Dew
than a can. Sure.
Than a can.
I
don't know why, but
of course.
I like it.
No, I agree.
And the second thing, and I was telling you about this earlier, I had a gal that worked for me quite a few years ago. And I drink a lot of Mountain Dew.
Really?
Over the years. I mean, seriously, now at my age now, I still drink a 6-pack a day. And I was drinking more back then.
And this is not Diet Mountain Dew,
no,
right?
it's
and
regular
you're a
Mountain
dentist,
Dew.
right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, that explains my physique, too.
Continue with your story.
But anyway, she had read somewhere, and I don't know where she read this, probably some one of those supermarket magazines.
Oh my God.
About some woman
This is going to be so inappropriate for our show.
It is inappropriate. And it was some woman who had drank so much Mountain Dew that Mountain Dew was actually coming out her nipples.
Uh-huh.
And so I figure at some point, Mountain Dew is going to be coming out my nipples.
You're going to be self-sustaining, my friend.
I'll be self-sustaining. I'll never have to buy Mountain Dew again. It'll be right there. I'll just hold the cup up.
I am so sorry for this, folks. I am so sorry. Hey, but
I always think about that'd be great.
My sister came to see you this week, right?
Yeah, my sister came to see me.
No, my sister.
Yeah.
What'd she bring you?
Your sister came to see me late at night. Yep. She brought me a bottle of Mountain Dew. And a package of snowballs.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah, and I was telling Mark, I put the snowballs on top of the little refrigerator in my office, and it was kind of towards the back, and the motor gets kind of warm, and the snowballs weren't hot, but they were just a little warm. Best snowballs I've ever eaten.
Really, they weren't melted or anything. They were just warm.
They were just warm. So from now on, I am going to get my cold Mountain Dew out of the fridge, and I'm going to put my snowballs in the micro for like 2 seconds and just warm them up a little bit. That marshmallow just melts. That is heaven.
I'll tell you, Mike, honestly, when I talk to my family, this whole eating snowballs and drinking Mountain Dew at the same time, it is now a legend in our family. It's like a story that's told. It's going to pass down
and
through
yet
generations.
I live that
now.
every day of my life.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.